Okay, Fastlane 2023. Let's make this clear. The show wasn't trash. I'm going to say that now. But by my perspective, nothing is good. Because as far as I can tell from the title, I'm being honest here, I do not see long-term plans. I don't. Now here's the thing. Many people are going to say, dude, we got long-term plans. Survivor Series, that's coming up. No. What WWE wants to plan for is WrestleMania. That's what they're planning. WrestleMania. And in between now to WrestleMania, there are no proper plans. Let's open with the undisputed WWE Tag Championships. Let me ask you a question. As much as you love Jey Uso, what is he doing right now? Not much. He went from one of the biggest storylines we've seen in over a decade and a half, working with Roman, where he could have been the tribal chief, which he should have been the tribal chief, not about the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship. No, it was about the moniker of who ran the family. They could have pulled the trigger on him, and they chose not to. So now he has nothing to do. They threw him on Raw. I was hoping there'd be something for him. But as far as I can tell, no. Then we got Cody Rhodes, who was red hot when he came back after he tore his pec. People were interested in him, and he should have won at WrestleMania. He did not. Many people said, oh no, he didn't need it because they're building into him. No. Because now look what we got. Him and Jey Uso versus Judgment Day with Damian Priest and Finn. What did we get? Did we get a proper outcome? It's not about the match quality. And I want to make this clear. All general matches except for one was alright. One was not. It wasn't very good. By my perspective. But when you see this match, and I'm telling you, when you see the match and the ending of the match, where you get Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes now as the WWE Undisputed Tag Champions, what do we really get? What do we really get? Honestly. Do we get something special for Jey Uso? No. Do we get something special for Cody Rhodes? No. We just now got Judgment Day losing the titles, and since Damian Priest got his knee almost obliterated by J.D. McDonough, who he's not been interested in, who he's been hating for a while, what does that really give Judgment Day? Now, I'm not saying they were doing great work as tag champs, but they were the ones who were running Raw. And they just did a supposed deal on this SmackDown that now the Judgment Day and the Bloodline are supposed to work together as an alliance. But guess what? Judgment Day just lost the tag championships. And when it comes to what just happened later, when it comes to the Bloodline, that ain't doing good either. So what stories are we getting? You guys tell me below. Next, the 6-man tag. The second one that I'm going, really? After all that, you did this. Now, we supposedly, Wilder and El Toro are out because they were supposed to go out with Ray. One of them was supposed to go work with Ray and Santos Escobar versus Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Bobby. As the, I'm not trying to bite off of the Lexman, formerly known, and now he is just Alex. He likes to say Baba who? Bobby Lashley. I understand that. It's very good. But you have Wild and El Toro out. Ray calls somebody, that was before the show, right around when the show was about to start, or just before it, saying he's going to get somebody. He couldn't come there immediately. He would be there eventually. We have the match, which was very one-sided until, and I knew it had to be somebody. It's either what's going to be, this is what I thought. We were either going to get, again, a Dragon Lee, maybe Axiom, because he is Spaniard. So you got Dragon Lee, who's a Mexican. Axiom was Spaniard, but he's never really interacted with Ray. But I'm sure he's talked to him. Then I thought maybe, Chavo, maybe. And then I also thought Carlito. But I thought that might be still an issue because there was something was going on with Carlito months ago. I don't know what it was. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what was going on with Carlito. People wondered when he was going to show up, but we didn't know. He shows up now. They have the match with him there, and they won. Why? I know Carlito being there is a big deal. Seeing Carlito cool, seeing Mr. Caribbean cool back. I spit in the face of anybody who's not as cool as me. I know that's not the way it is. But I like it that way. I like it that he spits in the face of anybody who's not as cool as him. But the point is, you had been building the Street Profits. You have been building Bobby. You just showed them breaking off. And basically, what happened with Bobby Lashley being so pissed off that basically Angelo and Montez could not get the job done. And you told him, you better give it to me. You better show me a reason why I'm not going to take everything from you. And supposedly they finally got their act together. When they came out, still using the same old music, at least they weren't dancing around much. They were being more stoic, even though they're copying a bit of Bobby. And then you have them in the ring, and Montez Ford is acting like an idiot, messing around and joking around. Why? I said it on Friday. They better win, or this made no damn sense whatsoever. It was just a big waste of time. And look what happened. Carlito comes out, and they win LWO. So what does this mean for Bobby Lashley? What does this mean for the Street Profits? Are you going to break them up now? Are you going to see Bobby splitting the Street Profits off? Where you're going to have Angelo Dawkins is going to be split away from Montez Ford? Are you going to have Montez Ford work with Bobby Lashley and Angelo Dawkins on his own? Because it was Angelo who screwed up the last time. And now supposedly, what? They're still going to do that? You're going to split them off? You're going to have Bobby only work with Montez Ford? This was stupid booking. I do not agree with this. This made no sense. I don't know about anyone else. If they say, oh, it's going to be great, how is it going to be great? That they're going to have the division again? And then what? They're going to have to prove again to Bobby they can actually get the job done when they should have got the job done in the first place. When you needed them to get the job done, it would have never hurt LWO. They're not showing any dissension between calm down. If there had been some type of dissension between Santos Escobar and Rey, that should have been it. They should have lost. Santos should have been angry, and Rey and him would have the problem, and then they would have done the division. No, they didn't want to pull the trigger on LWO. So this was a waste of time. LWO didn't gain anything, and the Street Profits and Bobby gained nothing. Next, the next match, which was not the best match. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. For me personally, it was not. The Women's Heavyweight Championship. Charlotte versus Asuka versus Io. Now, mind you, they chose the right person. But they didn't... How can I say this? Oh, if you're hearing some music in the background, that's someone's car blasting music they like to do in the area. Let me give it to you like this. Io needed to win, and she won. But she needed to win clean. Because as it stands right now, when it comes to... I feel nothing from Io. Honestly. Ever since she won that title, she has not been allowed to really show how great she is. And I don't believe she's been a credible champion ever since she won the damn thing the way she did. She needed a clean win over Asuka or Charlotte, and she didn't get none of that. Bayley had to come out, help her, and retain the title. Yes, they're heels, but in this situation, you really want to establish something. And I want to make this clear to any... Understand this. We have so few women that are in the main title scene that are credible. Who do we got? Charlotte, who they love to push the most. We got a Becky they love to push the most. They currently have Asuka. They don't push as much, but she's near the main event. Then you got Bianca Belair. There. Tell me, who else do they have? Yes, I know I could say easily Rhea Ripley, but she's more in a group, being the boss of the group, than she is being a women's champion. Now, I'm not taking anything from her. She is a women's champion. But tell me something. What's more important when it comes to Rhea Ripley? Is it that she's the most dominant woman on the main roster? Or is it because she's the current brains of Judgment Day and what she did Friday, making a little arrangement with Paul Heyman, who's looking gray as fuck? That brains of the operation. She's more of the boss of Judgment Day. And look what happened during the show. When Damian Priest was holding Money in the Bank and he had ice on his leg and he's angry at JD McDonough, who's the one that told him, calm down? Give me the briefcase, sit and rest. Who told him that? Was it Finn, who's the most senior member of the entire group? Nope. Was it Dom? No. Was it anyone other than Rhea? No, it was Rhea. So she feels more important in Judgment Day than as a women's champion. So Io winning the way she did makes her feel not as credible. I don't feel credibility from her. Yeah, she's a champion, but she's a joke. And I don't want her to be a joke. I'm moving on. The match that was good and had the right outcome was Cena and LA Knight versus Solo and Jimmy. It had to be that way. Now, I'm going to tell you this. And I've already said this about, I think, a few days ago easily. I filmed my Gump report already on John Cena. I just haven't edited it yet. It should be up Monday or Tuesday. I'm not going to upload it tomorrow. It's going to be up either Monday or Tuesday. Is John Cena the GOAT? Or is John Cena the greatest? I have that video done. It is made. I just got to edit it. But you see, one of the things that makes John Cena well loved, and also John Cena a pain in the ass. Because when he works, and admittedly he hasn't been working for quite a while in WWE, so he's overacting more than normal, trying to gather a lot of sympathy as he did the match first with Jimmy. Then he threw Jimmy around, and eventually he won a solo, and they had their run. And then John started getting his ass whooped. He was trying to get as much... John used to be a pain when he used to try and get as much sympathy as possible before he gets the tag. In this case, it was worse. Oh man, he hasn't done it in a while. So him trying to play to the crowd, even though it worked, felt a little too much overacting. He was acting like an actor, not a pro wrestler. But when LA came in, money, baby. Money. You cannot tell me LA is not over. He is so over as stink. I said this so many times, and I'm going to keep saying it. Eli Drake, I knew from the time I saw him nearly 10 years ago. I say at least 9 or 10 years ago, easily. I think 2013 when I first saw him. I knew there was something about him. I knew there was something special about him. I loved the guy when I first saw him. He had the gift to gab. He had the look. He had the charisma. He could wrestle, but he was never a ring general. He needed work. And he's done it. He is generally a good ring general. He's not the greatest. There are levels to ring general. You have good, and then you have the greatest. He is here. He's a good ring general. He can lead the match when it's his time. He can get it done. He can play to the crowd. He can talk while doing it. He can say, I'm going to whoop that ass. Saying, yeah. That's LA Knight. And he led the match. And guess what? He got the pin over Jimmy. Which, as I said, they ain't doing that much with Jimmy. They're not doing much with Jimmy. Until Roman comes back. And he helps to guide what Jimmy needs to be. I'm not feeling Jimmy. He's just a stopgap until Roman comes back. And comparing him to Jay, who now is currently the tag champion and is not doing anything either, it's not good. But I'm not going to tell you that it was a bad match. I personally liked the match. due to the fact they put over LA Knight well. And the thing that got me was at the end of that match, and John was going to raise his hand. He said, no, I don't want it, no. He raises John Cena's hand, which was the wisest thing to do. Because he, as I've said, he's a good ring general. He can read the crowd. That means he's got good psychology. If he let John just raise his hand, it wouldn't have been enough. No. Either John told him, which I don't think he needed to, because LA can wrestle. He's about what? LA started in 2003. John Cena roughly started near the end of 1999. So he's like about 3.5, near 4 years ahead of LA. It's only 4 years difference from their years wrestling. 4. But he understood, raise John Cena's hand, which will give you more. So you raise the GOAT's hand, as they would say, which I don't think he is. At least until you see my gum report. You gotta watch my gum report to see what I think of him. Because I'm not gonna tell you that he's the GOAT. I'm just gonna tell you I can't say it. But he did raise John's hand, which made him even cheer more, which was the wisest thing to do. Now, the last match of the night was this. Oh, and I almost forgot. Pat McAfee did show up and announce John. I had to say it. And he did belittle a little bit of Corey Graves, which I don't mind. But we got last man standings match. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, which was the wrong decision. I'm saying it now. I know about everyone else is going to say, dude, Seth won. Everyone was happy. Being happy does not mean long-term booking. Because at this point, what is Seth going to do? He's still going to be dealing with Shinsuke. He's beaten now Shinsuke twice. What now? Because I'm not saying the match was bad. It was a good match. Seth was busting his butt to sell the match about his lower back and getting his butt kicked. You see that Shinsuke spit him in the face with red mist instead of Asuka's blue mist that was used for Charlotte Flair. I didn't need to say much about Charlotte. I'm not going to. It's not necessary. She didn't win. That's all that mattered to me. But here Shinsuke gave Seth red mist. He whooped his ass. He kicked him everywhere and made it look as good as possible. Once he spit in his face and made him fall onto the announce table, that should have been it. I'm sorry. The match should have been over and Shinsuke should have won. And this would have been a good thing for Seth Rollins. But no, they maintained the match. They continued the match. And I'm going, Shinsuke's going to do it. Good. Nope, done. This was not about if the match quality was bad. It was a good last man standings match. It wasn't the greatest I've ever seen. But it was good. But it's not the point. What now for Seth Rollins? Who is he going up against now? Guess who? Nakamura, I doubt is over with. He's already beaten Nakamura not once, but twice. He's beaten Nakamura. What is the point now? If he had won against Nakamura, who is next? Do you actually think Nakamura is going to end it? You think the Shogun would end it? No. It makes no sense for them to end it now because, simply put, who's left for calm down. Who is left for Seth to deal with? You guys tell me. Is he going up against Bobby Lashley? No, Bobby's going to be still dealing with the Street Profits and probably LWO. Is he going to be dealing with Gunther? No, he's not going to deal with Gunther. Why would he deal with Gunther now? Unless it's going to be, they're going to do a Night of Champions, then you'll have Seth go up against Gunther, and it won't be for losing the title. That's it. Who is going to be next to go after the damn title? That's going to make it mean something. Or are they just going to do open challenges? Which they could. If it's not going to be a tournament for Seth's title, it's going to be an open challenge that I truly believe if they don't do it, Shinsuke is still going to go after Seth. It should have been better if Seth had lost to Shinsuke because of getting sprayed in the face and the way he got his ass kicked. He could have gone away, let Shinsuke the Shogun have a little bit of a shine. This was the best Shinsuke's ever been. In years, I've not seen him as well booked as this. But him losing, he gains nothing. Nothing. And Seth doesn't gain anything because at this point, after going through most of what few people that are willing to show on TV, he's got no one left. Who is left? Tell me. Who is left on the main roster of Raw for him to deal with now? Who? Damian Priest? Damian at this point supposedly he's messed up his knee. And now he's mad at JD McDonough. And then he has to deal with Mommy. This was dumb booking. They didn't need to go here. But they chose to. And as far as I can tell, this was going to be people going to like it. But then there's no long-term booking of it. What does this really give us going forward? What? Nothing. You care more about, what? Is this building into Survivor Series? What do we gain from Survivor Series with this? I don't see anything. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. I think, and this is me, Roman is still going to deal with The Rock, who only came back now once. John Cena is now running in the main roster, and there's a possibility maybe by Survivor Series we'll have Cena go up against Roman again. Because I do not see the Cena going up against The Rock. I don't. If they do, good. But I doubt The Rock is going to wrestle Cena. He's not wrestling him. So it's going to be Roman and The Rock. But it's not going to be now. They want for next WrestleMania. So all this time between now and WrestleMania, between Survivor Series and whatever shows they have before Royal Rumble going into this, it's trash. It's trash. I don't see anything good here. But this is just me. Peace.